The first time Emily Harper felt lonely in Austin, it wasn't dramatic. It was quiet. A crowded elevator. A busy sidewalk. 1,000 people moving fast, and somehow none of them looking up. She told herself she came here for growth, new city, new job, new life. But that night, standing in her modern little apartment with boxes still half open, she realized something else. In a new place, kindness feels like oxygen. And when you're short on air, you'll breathe from anywhere. Emily was 27, fresh from a small Ohio town, where neighbors waved from porches and the grocery cashier knew your name. Austin was brighter, louder, warmer. It smelled like coffee and sunscreen and ambition. Her new job was at a business services company downtown, the kind of office where days were measured in meetings and calendars and quick syncs. Emily worked in project management. She was good at it too, in the way you're good when you really want to prove you belong. She took notes. She followed up. She stayed late. She smiled even when her brain felt packed tight. On her second week, she met Jordan Reyes. He was the kind of person who made a regular Tuesday feel slightly more interesting. 29, sharp haircut, easy laugh, eyes that stayed on you when you talked. He knew how to ask questions that didn't feel like questions. "So what brought you to Austin?" he asked one afternoon at the coffee machine, like he had all the time in the world. Emily liked that. She liked being noticed. "New start," she said. "And honestly, I wanted to push myself." Jordan nodded like he understood the whole story already. "That's brave." Most people don't do brave. He invited her to coffee the next day, then lunch the day after that, then a quick walk outside when the office felt too cold. Emily told herself she was getting lucky. New city, new friend. And when Jordan listened, he listened like her words mattered. So Emily began to share. At first, it was harmless. Her dad worrying about her being far from home. Her mom calling a little too often. The pressure she felt to make it in Austin so the move wouldn't look like a mistake. Jordan would lean in, eyebrows lifted, voice soft. "That's a lot to carry," he'd say. "I get it." Then the sharing got more personal, without Emily realizing when the line moved. One late afternoon, after a rough meeting where Emily's project timeline got picked apart, she sighed and said, "Sometimes I worry I'm not cut out for this." Like, what if I'm not as good as everyone thinks? Jordan didn't laugh. He didn't dismiss her. He didn't say the usual office stuff. He said, "Thank you for trusting me with that." And it felt warm, safe. That sentence, Emily would later realize, was a key that opened doors. A month passed. Emily started to feel like she belonged. She learned the names of the baristas near her building. She found a quiet trail along Lady Bird Lake where she could walk after work. She even bought a little plant for her desk, a stubborn succulent that refused to look impressed. Work started to pick up. There was talk of a larger project coming in, something high visibility. The kind of assignment that could lead to a promotion, maybe even a future team lead role. Emily wanted that project badly. Not because she needed a fancy title, but because she wanted proof. Proof she didn't just run away from Ohio. Proof she could build something here. One Friday, her manager hinted that the big project would go to someone steady under pressure. Emily went home that night and called her mom, then stared at her ceiling for a long time. She wasn't steady under pressure. She was trying to look steady under pressure. The next morning, Jordan texted, "Coffee?" They met at a little spot with outdoor seating. The sun was already bright, like it didn't believe in rest days. Emily tried to keep things light, but Jordan asked, "You seem off. What's going on?" And because he'd earned her trust, she said the truth. She told him she wanted that big project. She told him her family expected her to succeed. She told him she was scared of failing so publicly that people would stop taking her seriously. Jordan listened, nodding slowly. Then he said, "Emily, you're smart, but you have to stop being so hard on yourself. The words landed like a hand on her shoulder. She left the cafe feeling lighter. What she didn't notice was the way Jordan's phone screen stayed on just a second too long when she stood up, like he was making a mental note. 2 weeks later, the big project was assigned, not to Emily, to Jordan. Emily read the email twice, like the words might rearrange themselves if she stared long enough. Her face got hot, then cold. She sat very still at her desk, listening to office sounds that suddenly felt far away. She told herself it was fine. It was just one project. More would come. But she couldn't stop the thought. Why him? Then, slowly, little moments started stacking up. A coworker in the hallway said, "Hey, hope things are okay. I heard you've been stressed." Emily forced a smile. "I'm good. Just busy." Another colleague joked during a meeting, "Don't overthink it, Emily. We don't want you spiraling." Emily blinked. "What?" They laughed like it was harmless. But her stomach tightened because she had never used the word spiraling out loud. Not once. A day later, her manager pulled her aside, tone polite but distant. "Just checking in," he said. "I want to make sure you're in a good place. You've mentioned feeling unsure lately." Emily's ears rang. "I haven't mentioned that to you." Her manager hesitated. Well, it came up. It came up like her private fears were office weather. Something people casually shared. That evening, Emily sat in her car in the apartment garage and cried until her chest hurt. Not loud, not dramatic, just quiet tears that made her feel small and foolish. She whispered, "Why did I say all that?" And under that was a worse question. How can someone look you in the eye and use you like that? The next few weeks were heavy. Emily did her work. She hit deadlines. She answered emails. She even laughed at the right moments. But inside, she felt scraped raw. She replayed conversations with Jordan, like rewinding a scene in a movie, searching for the moment she should have known. And that's when she started noticing the small signs she'd missed. Jordan always asked for details. Not just "How are you?" but "What exactly did your manager say?" He often shared funny stories about other people's struggles, like gossip wrapped in concern. He got warmer when something useful was happening, cooler when nothing was. It wasn't one big obvious red flag. It was a handful of tiny ones Emily had brushed away because she wanted the friendship to be real. One night, she sat at her kitchen counter with a bowl of cereal she didn't want, and she thought about something her dad used to say when she was a kid. "Locks aren't for bad people. Locks are for the world as it is." Back in Ohio, she'd always hated that. It sounded cynical. In Austin, it suddenly sounded practical. Emily didn't want to become hard. She just didn't want to be easy. So she decided on one small change. Not revenge. Not confrontation. A boundary. Something quiet. Something steady. The next time Jordan slid into her day with his smooth voice and easy smile, Emily kept her expression friendly. "Hey," he said, "we should catch up. You've been quiet lately. Everything okay?" Emily took a breath. She could feel her old habits trying to rush in, fill the silence, explain, confess, earn comfort. Instead, she said calmly, "I'm all right, just focusing." Jordan tilted his head. On what? Here was the test. The old Emily would have told him everything. She smiled, small and polite. Just work stuff. Nothing exciting. Jordan's eyes flickered. It was quick, like a light switching off for half a second. He tried again. "Come on, you can tell me. I'm your guy in this place, remember?" Emily kept her tone warm. "I appreciate that. I'm just not in the mood to share personal stuff right now." There it was. Not harsh. Not mean. Just clear. Jordan laughed like it was a joke. "Okay, mystery girl." Emily laughed lightly too because she wasn't trying to start a war. She was trying to protect her peace. And something inside her unclenched. It didn't fix everything. It didn't erase what happened. But it returned a piece of control to her hands. Over the next month, Emily practiced the boundary like a new habit. When coworkers fished for gossip, she stayed vague. When Jordan poked for details, she redirected. When she felt tempted to over-explain, she didn't. "I'm not ready to talk about that. I'm keeping that private. Thanks, but I'm good." Simple sentences. Quiet armor. And something surprising happened. The world didn't end. People didn't hate her. The office didn't collapse. Her kindness didn't disappear. It just stopped spilling everywhere. One Saturday morning, Emily went for a walk by the lake. The air was mild, the water glittering like it had secrets. She passed runners, dogs, couples holding hands. Ordinary life moving forward. She stopped at a small coffee cart and ordered a latte. The barista handed it over with a smile that didn't feel performative, just human. Emily sat on a bench and watched the city wake up. Her chest still held a bruise from what Jordan had done. Betrayal doesn't vanish on a schedule. But the bruise didn't control her anymore. She thought about her younger self, the girl who believed everyone was good if you were good first. Emily still wanted to be that kind of person. She still liked warmth. She still believed in kindness. She just understood something now that she hadn't before. Trust was not a gift you threw into the crowd. It was something you offered slowly, with time, with proof, with care. In her mind, the words came softly, not like a lesson, more like a promise. Trusting people isn't wrong, but trusting without limits, without time to see who they really are. That's how you hand someone the sharpest parts of you. Emily took a sip of her latte. The coffee was warm, the morning was gentle, and for the first time in weeks, she felt steady. Not because Austin suddenly became safe, but because she learned how to be safe inside it. She stood up, adjusted her bag on her shoulder, and kept walking, carrying her kindness like a light she could aim. Not dim, not hidden, just finally, wisely in her own hands.